Hello and welcome back to my channel. Thanks for tuning in again. And if you are new to my channel, then I thank you for coming here for the first time and hope that you will hit that subscribe button at the bottom there and the little bell notification so that you can see when I post all my next videos. So thank you again and welcome. Hope everybody's doing safe, staying home, doing all the necessary things as we fight this pandemic and try and flatten the curve. I think we're doing well here in BC, where I live, British Columbia, Canada. From what I've heard, we are slowing things down, so that's good. I think most people are, the vast majority of people are certainly doing the right thing. But let's move on to that. I know that's certainly in everybody's mind, but I don't want to dwell on that. So today I'm going to try something new and fun, may create some new results, I'm not sure. So this little styrofoam tray is from meat. So I've washed it, of course, and dried it off to make sure it's nice and clean. But I'm going to pour some paint in here, and I've got two canvases because I think I'm going to try it two different ways just to see what happens. So I'm going to pour some paint in rows this way, and then tilt that onto the canvas, and then tilt on the canvas. And then I'm going to try it the other way, lengthwise. So trying it this way first, and then this way second, just to see what difference it makes, if anything. So like I said, I do have two canvases here, so we're just going to take a minute to get one ready, and I'll get the other one ready off camera later. So these are 12 by 12 canvases that I'm going to be using today. So I'm just going to use the Artist Loft Ready-Made pouring paint in the white for the base for both canvases, and I'm going to use the same colors, and in this case I'm using the Deco Art Ready, Fluid Art Ready to Pour acrylics. So I'm going to be using the True Blue, the lemon, although I don't have a lot of that left, so I might not get very much for that one. I'm going to be using the aquamarine, the coral, the magenta, and the fuchsia. So some bright spring fun colors. Well, actually, I'm okay for lemon. I have another bottle. There we go. I thought I had another bottle, so we should be okay. So let's just go and get this covered with the white. Spread that around. It's been beautiful, beautiful weather here in Vancouver area where I live. So I'm trying to get out on most days to go for a physically distanced walk, wearing my mask just as a precaution. And just staying away from people in general. And but I live near a very beautiful park called Central Park in Burnaby, Vancouver area, BC, and that's where I've been going for my walks in and around the park, because it's quite a big park, so I can get a nice good walk in if I go outside the park or if I go through the park, where there's lots of well maintained and marked trails. So far we are still allowed to do that as long as we're not gathering in groups here in Vancouver. So I'll probably get out a little later today to do that. Again, get some exercise and fresh air. Certainly helps with mental well-being. Just get this spread here. Not going to worry about the sides right now. The paint will tilt off and help cover the sides. I've got something else coming up too that I'm very excited about, a project I'm going to do, and I will film it. And before I get started on this one in just a minute, let me just finish this and I'll show you a couple of recent projects I've done that I did not film. I don't film everything I do, obviously, but I will show those to you. Just give me 1 second here. Just want to finish getting this spread. Okay, that looks good there. Well, let's give it a little torch to get rid of any air bubbles. Excellent. Okay, so before I pour the paint into the tray and do that, I want to show you two projects that I've just recently finished. The first one, I called it a dot mandala, but it's not a true dot mandala because the dots aren't clearly spaced and separate from each other. Looks kind of more like a mosaic tile type project, but either way, I absolutely love how it turned out. So this is my latest project. Absolutely love it. And if you look close, of course, the way, because I did use dotting tools, you can see the texture, which is why it kind of looks like a mosaic tile type image. But yeah, I absolutely love that. So I'm definitely going to do, I've got a big one coming up planned for that I'm going to do on a 22 by 28 inch canvas, the biggest I've ever used. And then the other one I did was, not sure if people are familiar with the little wooden pieces that you can get, sometimes come in a little baggie or inside the back of a canvas that you use to help stretch and tighten the canvas, which I didn't know that that's what they were for until I started this type of art. But I haven't really ever used them for stretching the canvas, but I did a couple of months ago or more, a few months ago, I started dipping some of them into left runoff paint just, and I was thinking of creating jewelry with them, which I never did and may or may not still do. But finally, when I was cleaning up and organizing my paint space yesterday, I remembered them, even though I'd seen them in plain sight, and decided to create something cool with them. At least I think it's cool. So this is what I've created with these little pieces of wood. So this is just on a cardboard cake round. They're just crazy glued, hot glued on there. But this is what I've created with this. I absolutely love it. Several people, including my daughter, have suggested that this would make an awesome clock, and I agree. So I might end up turning this into a clock. But I hope that you think this is pretty cool like I do. All right, so let's get started with today and see what we can create. So I'm just going to move the canvas out of the way. Just move it up here a little bit. And then we're going to put the paint tray right there. And I'm not going to use any silicone in this today. I'm just going to lay down the paint. I'm going to do the dark color first. I have not taken, thought I'd already used this color. I have not taken the little cap off. No wonder it won't come out. Let's take that off. Okay, that might make it easier for it to come out. Okay, so I'm going to do the dark blue here, true blue as it's called. And next we'll do the lemon. I'm going to try not to let the colors blend right away. Yeah, that's the lemon. Now we're going to use the aquamarine. I'm just putting a finger on the corner here to hold it down so that the paints don't make it heavy at one side and it starts to blend or move before I want it to. Next we're going to use the coral. Never considered myself a coral person, but I really, really like this color. It's very pretty. And then next up we have the magenta. I love trying new things with this type of art, even if they don't necessarily turn out the way I thought or wanted them to, but that's okay. It's all about experimenting and having fun. And then here we go with the fuchsia. I thought about whether I wanted to put any silicone in these or not, and I could theoretically put a little bit in here, maybe just sprinkle some on, but I'm not going to do it. I want to see how this turns out on its own. So now we'll move the canvas down here where you can see, and then I'm just going to beginning to pour on it. I think I'm going to start at this end, and then as I'm pouring, move to the opposite end. So let's just do that. Look at the ripples, I love it. Especially as they're got the white in between them. To go a little bit slower as we get near to the end. And I don't want to fall off the end of the canvas. There we go. Wow, that looks pretty cool. I'm going to give it a little torch because, as you could see, I was shaking up the paints as I was putting them into the tray. So I'll just give this a little torch to get rid of any air bubbles. Wow, I almost don't want to spread this because it looks pretty awesome. Alright, so let's give this a little tilt. Just going to get that tray out of the way. I just want to wipe that edge off so that it doesn't drip anywhere, but I don't want it to. Okay, just going to put it over there. Okay, so let's do some tilting and see what happens. I'm going to go over to this one side first. And back over to the other side. We'll come back to center a little bit. I'm just going to turn this around. And we'll tilt down this end a little bit. We'll go to this other corners. So again, it's just an experiment. I might have needed a little bit more paint overall, but that's okay. Let's see where we can get it to go. It's flowing nicely with the base underneath. Okay, well, let's go back the other direction. So we did lose some of the blue and yellow off the top end that's currently closest to me, but there is still some of both there, so that's good. I wanted to keep all the colors if at all possible. Let's continue letting this tilt. It's a slow process, a little bit because I probably don't have quite enough paint, but that's okay. This little runoff here that I'm sort of pointing at with my finger could definitely create some pretty skins or jewelry or whatever you may be inclined to do with your runoff paint. So I may find something to dip those in when I've done this. So we're almost there. Slow process today. Okay, I'm just going to bring this back to center a little bit. When I'm cleaning things off on my table and stuff, I adjusted, I think, the positioning of things, and I think my camera is a little too close today. Not getting the full in there. Give me 1 second here. I'm just going to move it back briefly, a little bit at least. Bear with me here. There we go. I think you'll get a better view that way. So there we go. So I've got some negative space over here that I'm quite happy with, quite fine with. I love the little things here and the white coming through. And I do find that the Artist Loft Ready-Made and the Deco Art Ready-Mades don't always play nice together in that I believe that's because I used the Artist Loft white as a base. This is why I get these little spots that I'll show you when I come in for a close-up. And I won't do a close-up till I've done both pictures. But I'm really happy with that. So I'm just going to take a minute. I'm going to put you on pause. And I'm going to get the other one. I'm going to rinse out the tray so I can start fresh. And I'm going to get the other canvas prepped. And then we'll be back to continue. Okay, we're back. So I've got that second canvas with the white on it for the base. I'll move that out of the way in a second here as I get my glove back on, and we'll layer the paints in the tray the opposite direction, more vertically I would describe it as. I'm just going to move this up out of the way for now. And we'll bring the tray back over. So we're going to use the tray, like I said, more in a more vertical manner this time. Let me just move the paints over to make room. Okay, should be able to see there. Hopefully, let me just move things. I just want you guys to be able to see all of it. Okay, well, the bottom of the tray is going to get dirty, but that's okay. So let's get, I'm going to do, I guess, because this is longer and much shorter, I'm going to do 2 rows of each color. So again, starting with the true blue, and then the lemon, which is almost done. Let me just grab my other bottle of lemon. Take the little cap, inside little cap off. Okay, and then we'll go to the aquamarine. And then the fuchsia. Oh, nope, got these in the wrong order. Coral was next. And then the magenta. Then the fuchsia. And we'll go back to the true blue. Should have made these a little bit more regular, so they'll have a little less room at the end here, but that's all right. I'll squeeze them in. Lemon. And tilt this up a bit so they don't really run on each other. Although that's kind of hard to stop. Alright, so let's move this canvas back into place so you can see what I'm doing. And again, I'm going to start pouring away from me at that end. This time I'm going to kind of just wiggle it back and forth a little. Which of course is going to definitely create a different design. Just want to get as much of the paint off the styrofoam as possible without actually scraping it. Okay, there we go. Let me just put this in a safe spot. Okay, so that looks pretty awesome, like it is. Let's give that a little torch. I think again I might have needed a little bit more paint, but we'll see how this goes. I'm going to tilt this way first. And back to the other side. And we'll come down this direction. Let me turn that around so you can see. And I'll go over to that side. And then back over here. Okay, and then I'm just going to turn it around one more time and wipe off my hands, as I don't like this big patch here at this end, so I'm going to see if I can get it to move down more, get rid of some of that off the end. So we can get that that corner down there on the bottom covered. So I want that paint to flow a little bit more in that direction. Definitely got some pretty colors on my mat, on my puppy pad. Okay, so it's gone over the edge. I just want to get rid of a little bit more of that big blotch. I like the finer lines here, so I want to keep as many of those as I can. All right, there we go. Just gonna wipe the edges here. I think I've mentioned in many of my videos about making sure you wipe the edges, scrape the edges with your finger, with the little palette knife like I am, with a popsicle stick, whatever you want. But make sure you scrape your edges a couple times, at least, about maybe 10-15 minutes apart when you're doing this, so that you don't lose what you might really love off the edge of a canvas. So there we go. That is pretty awesome. Even very interesting over what's happening over here. So we're going to pause one more time and get rid of these very messy gloves, and then we'll come back for a close-up. Okay, so here we go with a couple close-ups of both pieces. We'll go into the first one that I did first, where the tray was horizontal. We'll move in close there. Really like how this looks. I love that the white came through. I do know now, though, like I said earlier in the video, that I think the Artist Loft Ready-Made and the Decor Ready-Made don't always play well together, which is why I end up with these white spots. So I'm going to try not to mix those two brands again. But in the meantime, let's have a closer look at this. Sorry for bobbling around there. Just trying not to get paint on myself. Okay, so here we are, the bottom left corner. This kind of looks like a mountain there, but let's move in here and over across to the bottom right corner, and again looks almost like ice there, like a glacier or something, and we'll move up into the top right corner. But I really love the white and then the orange and then the red and the stripes, and you know, the green and the yellow. They did stay well defined, which I really like, so I'm very happy with that. So moving up to the right hand corner on this one. And then we'll move over to the left hand corner. Like I said, very excellent definition of stripes. They stayed well defined, which I really appreciate. So yeah, I'm very happy with this one. There you get the whole image again. Okay, so now let's move over to the second one I did. So this one was where the tray was vertical, and I used 2 lines of each color, plus when I tilted it on, I kind of wiggled back and forth just to see the different results. So here's the second one. Let's move in for some close-ups. So going down to the left bottom corner here, so there's again those white spots that I'm talking about, where the 2 different brands don't seem to always marry as well, but still create some interesting effects, which I'm not complaining about. Love this little rainbow sort of squiggle there. And again, they did think overall stayed well defined, the colors and the lines, which I really like. And then I like this over here coming into the right corner. I like this effect here, actually. Kind of makes me think of snow, or I'm not 100% sure what I think of, but I really like it. So we're going to move up to the top right corner. And again, just commenting on how well the colors stayed defined and they didn't get muddied and everything. I do admire that about the Decor Art colors and the Artist Loft Ready Made. They both seem to work well in that regard. Now we'll move over to the top left corner of this one. Definitely like those very precise looking stripes right there. And this one, it's all kind of softened. So there the colors did blend a bit more, and that's more the tilting, I think, than anything. But I really like that. It's a very kind of soft effect thrown in there. So we'll just back it up here so you can see the whole of this one again. And again, apologizing for the glare. So there is the whole of that one, and then let's see if I can back up enough to get both of them into the camera for you. Hopefully you can see both of those well. So I just want to say thanks again for joining me. I appreciate everyone who watches my videos. Please leave comments if you want, just to say what you think of my art, or what you think, or if you have suggestions. I'm open to hearing all of that, and I'm hoping you're having a wonderful day, taking care of yourself and staying healthy. Thanks again for watching, and like I said, if you haven't already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button down at the end, the bottom of the screen there, and hit the little bell notification so that you'll know when I post my next video. Have a great day.